I used to believe that the strongest marriages could weather anything: money issues, parenting stress, even illness or job loss. But I never imagined the thing that would slowly crack my marriage wouldn't be a catastrophe. It would be a woman. My mother-in-law. When Diane moved in, it was supposed to be for 8 weeks. "Just until I'm back on my feet," she said sweetly after her hip surgery. "I don't want to be a burden." She smiled at me from her hospital bed, frail and seemingly helpless. Of course I said yes. I was trying to be the good wife, the supportive daughter-in-law. Adam, my husband, was grateful. "It means a lot to me," he said, wrapping his arms around me as we prepared the guest room. I didn't realize that by opening our door, I was also opening the gates to a slow, creeping invasion. Week 1, Diane was polite. Week 2, she began rearranging the kitchen. "Oh honey, the mugs just make more sense over here." Week 3, she commented on how often I used the microwave. "All that radiation isn't good for Ava, you know." And by week 4, she was already criticizing my parenting like it was a full-time job. "You let her eat processed snacks? No wonder she gets so hyper. You should dress her warmer." Back in my day, kids weren't always getting sick. I saw her throw a tantrum. "Are you not disciplining her properly?" At first, I bit my tongue. I even tried to laugh it off, "That's just Diane." But as the weeks turned into months, the comments became daggers. Subtle enough that Adam didn't notice, but sharp enough to cut me, bit by bit. Diane didn't just share our home, she took over it. She started waking up before me to prepare breakfast. "Let me help, you look tired," she'd say, sliding my hand off the stove. She'd take over laundry. "You must be busy," she'd offer, while folding my undergarments in the living room. She even started paying the delivery guy for groceries and keeping the receipts, like she was running the house. But the worst part? Adam. He didn't see it. To him, Diane was just trying to help. "She's used to being independent," he'd say. "It's hard for her to feel like she's not contributing." He dismissed every complaint. Every cry for space. "It's only temporary," he kept promising. But that temporary stay? It turned into 3 long, draining years. In that time, I lost so much of myself. I stopped hosting friends because Diane complained they stayed too long or were too loud. I stopped doing yoga in the mornings because she accidentally filled the living room with her antique furniture. I gave up my art studio to convert it into a reading room for her. I watched my identity erode piece by piece, like paint peeling off an old wall. And when Ava started calling Diane Mama Diane, it broke me. Not because I didn't want Ava to love her grandmother, but because I could feel my role slipping away. I wasn't the center of my own daughter's world anymore. Diane made sure of that. She picked her up from preschool without asking. She told me she was saving me the drive. But the teacher once confided that Diane questioned her about Ava's classmates and teaching methods. I had become a background character in my own life. And the final straw? The day I found out Diane had been borrowing money from our joint account. Quietly. Without asking. She'd convinced Adam it was fine, just small amounts to cover personal needs, medication, a new phone, some gifts for Ava. But it added up to over $6,000. When I asked her, she laughed. "Oh, I assumed it was Adam's money." "And what's his is yours, right?" she said, with a smug smile. I cried in the bathroom that night. Not out of shock, but because I realized I had become numb. 3 years of emotional erosion had taken their toll. That was the night I finally said the words. "I can't do this anymore." Adam froze. We had just tucked Ava into bed. The house was quiet, save for the soft hum of the dishwasher, and my racing heart. "I love you," I said. "But I feel like I'm disappearing. I feel like I'm living with a stranger, and sleeping next to someone who doesn't see me anymore." He stared at me, wide-eyed. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying if something doesn't change soon. I'll have no choice but to leave. It wasn't a threat. It was a cry for help. That night, we didn't sleep. We talked. 4 hours. For the first time in years, he heard me. I told him everything. The silent pain. The slow takeover. The guilt. The helplessness. How every day, I felt like I was gaslighting myself into thinking maybe I'm overreacting. But I wasn't. I was surviving. Something changed in him. I could see it, the way his shoulders slumped under the weight of realization. He admitted he had checked out emotionally. That he'd been so focused on keeping his mother happy, he never noticed his wife slipping away. I thought I was keeping peace, he said. But I didn't realize I was choosing sides. The next morning, he spoke to Diane. It wasn't pretty. She cried. She guilt-tripped. She accused me of turning him against her. But Adam held the line. We love you, Mom, he said. But this isn't working anymore. It's not healthy for any of us. You need your own space. We gave her 2 months' notice. Helped her apply for a senior apartment in a beautiful nearby complex. We paid her deposit, bought her furniture, and even helped her move in. For the first time in 3 years. I breathed. Our house felt empty for a few days. But slowly, it became ours again. I reclaimed the reading room and turned it back into my art space. We invited friends over. Laughed. Danced in the kitchen. Ava started sleeping better. So did I. Adam and I went to therapy. We learned how to set boundaries, not just with Diane, but with each other. We found us again, buried under years of avoidance and silent resentment. And Diane? Surprisingly, she adjusted. At first, she resisted. But with time, she began enjoying her new life. Her own routines. Her own peace. And during visits, she was kinder. Warmer. Maybe even grateful. It wasn't a war. It was a reckoning. And in the end, we all found something we'd lost. Space. Identity. Balance. Today, Ava is 5. She knows exactly who Mama is. Our home is no longer a battleground. It's a place of healing. And me? I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living. Because I finally realized something powerful. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And love, real love, doesn't ask you to. If you're reading this and feel invisible in your own home, please hear me, you're not alone. It's okay to say, I've had enough. It's okay to draw the line. And it's more than okay to choose peace, even if it makes others uncomfortable at first. You deserve a home that feels like yours. You deserve to be seen. And trust me, reclaiming yourself? It's the beginning of everything.